I want to share with you the blueprint for generating a $100,000 web agency that you can run on your own, no employees, just with a laptop out of your house, with just 10 clients. And this is one of the most fundamental realizations that I had with running my agency. I'm Lee Blue. I ran my own web agency for over 20 years. And today I'm mentoring some of today's top earning web designers through my mentoring program, DoubleStack. And this is like the business model that we're using in DoubleStack to generate six figures with just 10 clients. But there's three major like shifts or major components to this blueprint. I want to share all of them right now with you, and then you'll have the blueprint for it. So I'm on a Zoom call with a web designer. I don't know if you know this, but you can schedule calls with me. Like if you go to my website, doublestack.net/call, you'll see my call calendar pop up. And if you want to see how DoubleStack works and how we're getting clients and you want to talk with me personally, like I personally take all those calls, then hop over there and schedule a call and we'll talk. So I'm on a Zoom call and this guy says, well, what do you feel like I need to focus on right now in order to be successful? You know, with all the AI tools and everything that's changing, like what do you feel like a web designer needs to do today in order to, get into the six figures and kind of have that type of business we were just talking about? And it really struck me because it sounded like he was expecting me to give him a tech stack. Like, here are the tools that we're using. Here's the services that we're offering. Like, here's the implementation of everything that we're doing. But that's not really the thing. Like, that's not the major thing that helps, because your tech stack is always going to be changing. I could list my tech stack right now, and I bet in 2 or 3 months from now it's going to be different because everything is evolving and changing, especially right now. But that's not the problem. The problem is not the implementation of the services. The problem is the revenue style. Like, how do you make the money? How do you get the clients? What does the business model look like? And the fundamental shift that I think is the most important one to make as a web designer right now in the culture that we're living in, with everything changing so fast and all the AI stuff, is stop thinking about selling websites and start thinking about landing clients. The difference between selling websites and landing clients is recurring revenue. Because when you sell a website, it's like one transaction for every client. When you land a client, it's multiple transactions from the same client because you have ongoing relationships with them. And so like on this Zoom call, I'm talking like we're talking about this guy's business and everything. And so I'll say, well, what do you want your revenue to be? Like, do you have a revenue goal or like an annual or monthly revenue goal you want to hit? And he's like, well, if I could sell like 3 or 4 websites per month, I'd really be where I need to be, because he's probably doing the same thing I was doing, selling $2,500 websites, maybe $3,000 websites. And if you could do 3 or 4 a month, you're making 10 grand a month. That equates to like 100 grand a year. But I just don't think you can do that anymore, especially not today. Because like the hardest thing you can do in your agency is run the whole agency off of first transaction clients. What I mean by first transaction clients is it means like you find the client, they pay you one time, and then you have to go do it again. Like find a new client to get paid one time. Maybe you get $50 a month for hosting or something, but nothing meaningful for the recurring revenue side. And so you have this one business model that runs off first transaction clients. And then you have this other one that we do in DoubleStack, which runs off of recurring revenue, like repeat transactions from the same set of clients. So you only need to land like 10 clients in order to generate the 6 figures. So let me show you how the math works, and then we'll get into the different, like I think there's probably 2 or 3 major components to actually make sure this works. Because like one of the major things that we need to look at is if you continue to work with clients, it's really important to like not have them ask you to do stupid things. I'll tell you what that means. Like stupid change requests, or to have them cancel because like if you're selling them like prepaid hours, and the people tend to cancel with that. So I want to address those in just a minute. But before we get to that, let's look at the math for how the recurring revenue side works. So I already looked at the $2,500 websites, sell one every week, and that's 4 every month, and that's 10 grand a month and 100 grand a year. Well, what about this recurring revenue side? Well, in DoubleStack, we've got a value ladder where we have like a good, a better, and a best kind of range for our packages. And most of our clients tend to fall in the middle one. It's $875 per month. So just for the simplicity of just kind of focusing on what most of our clients are doing, let's just look at that middle tier, $875 per month. So let's assume you're getting clients at that level. So $875 per month is a little bit more than $10,000 per year. It's like $10,200 per year. And so if you have somebody paying you at that rate, then you need like 10 clients to make $100,000. And so then you think, well, what about the time? How long does it take to fulfill on an $875 per month package? And it's less than 2 hours per week per client. It's usually like an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes, something like that. But let's just call it 2 hours per week per client at that level. And so then you think, well, what if I had 5 clients? So 5 clients at basically $10,000 per year would be $50,000, a little bit more than $50,000 of recurring revenue every year with 5 clients, and that would be 2 hours a day, 5 days a week to make $50,000. And they say, well, what if you double it? Well, now you're working 4 hours a day, $100,000 a year. Now, I have to be clear, it's 4 billable hours a day. So there will be time that you put into client acquisition and sending invoices and paying your taxes and bookkeeping and all that stuff. That's not billable time. That's still hours that you need to put into your business, but you're not billing for it. And so I don't feel like it's realistic to bill out 8 billable hours because you would then be working a ton, right? So, but at 4 billable hours per day, 5 days a week, so you're not working weekends, that's basically the tipping point for jumping into the 6 figures. So that's pretty decent, right? And then the other thing that's really interesting about this too is once you get your kind of like that nest egg of like 10 clients, you don't need to get any more clients anymore. And so you can spend all of your time working with clients, almost none of your time in client acquisition. And that's why your margins go so up, because you basically delete a ton of non-billable time that would be in client acquisition in favor of actually serving and helping clients. So they're getting better results, you're making more money, everybody's winning. I mean, I just love it so much. It's such a I want to use the word delicious. It's such a great way to structure your web agency because everyone is winning and I love it. So that's the math behind it. But there's like 3 major components to make this recurring revenue thing work. And the first one is like, as soon as you start working with clients on an ongoing basis, one of the number one things that comes up is they tend to ask you to do stupid things. Like they'll like have all these change requests that come in and they're stupid changes. Like I remember, I was talking to this guy, he's got a client that does bookkeeping. He's got a bookkeeping, like an accounting client. And all he did is build a website for him, but he's on this retainer where there's like a couple hours per month that he's supposed to do stuff, but it's not planned out. It's just sort of like prepaid hours. And so this accounting guy calls him up and he's like, hey, can you put this dynamic map on my website so that anybody can click any state, and whatever state you click on, it'll pop up all of the tax rules for how to file your taxes in that state. And like, first of all, that is that's a huge thing. It's like, I don't even think you could do that anyway, because all the tax rules change all the time. You're probably gonna be responsible for it if it's on your website. You got 50 states to account for. Plus you have to figure out how to build that dynamic clickable map. I mean, that's a really big change request, right? Or like feature request. But here's the thing. The website was only getting like 2 or 3 visitors per day. So like even if you built the map and did all of that stuff, they're still not going to get any clients. The accountant's not going to get any clients for that, because the problem is not the content or the lack of the dynamic map thing. The problem is they're not getting any traffic, right? And so one of the major problems with ongoing client work is these crazy change requests. And the way that you fix the change request is, so like, let me tell you this. So when you build a website for somebody, and this is at least my experience, I think this will probably cascade down to almost everybody, but in my experience, when you build a website and you just let it sit there, the website is a very volatile thing. Like, it won't just sit there. Somebody is going to be pushing it forward. And the somebody could be the client, like we just talked about with that crazy map thing, or it could be you. That's what I want. So that's I think it's a bit of a mindset shift, because a lot of web designers don't really think of themselves as pushing the client's business forward. We're kind of, at least when I first started, I was thinking of myself more like an artist than a doctor. And I talk about this artist-doctor analogy a lot. But an artist, the client tells the artist, hey, here's the vision that I have in my mind. Can you use your tools and your skills to bring my vision to life? And then we, as web designers, I think a lot of web designers think of themselves as artists, especially graphic designers. We're like, yeah, let's do, you just tell me what you want. I'll do the best I can implementing what you say. But in order to actually like implement that in your business, there's this underlying assumption that the client's asking for the right thing. And I think today, it's virtually impossible for the client to ask for the right thing. They don't know what the thing is. Like, it's hard enough for us as web designers to keep track of all the crazy stuff that's going on. How can we expect our clients to know how to orchestrate their website, to support their Google business profile? What should the headlines be on their websites? And what lead magnet should they use? And what should they be saying in the emails? And like all of this stuff, what should they be saying on social media? How do I support my entire business with all these different things that I can be doing online? The clients don't know anything about that. And so what happens is if you're not the one pushing it forward, the client's going to come in with these stupid things about these dynamic clickable maps of the country or whatever. It's like, it's nuts, right? That's never going to help. Whereas if we can push everything forward then it squelches all the stupid change requests. But it requires us to have a mindset shift. So instead of thinking of ourselves as artists where we're told what to do, we think of ourselves as doctors where we tell the other person what needs to be done in order to get the results that they're looking for. And so when I'm telling my clients what needs to be done, I'm in control of the changes. So I can say, during the next month, here's what we're going to be doing, and then I'll set it up so I can do it in whatever time frame my $875 per month package allows. Because we have other packages, like the higher end package, I can do more stuff. The lower end package, I do a little bit less. But I'm in control of what goes into it to make sure that A, the client is doing the right thing, they're on the right path and getting good results. And B, I'm profitable when I actually do it so I can stay in business and continue to serve people. So that's thing number one, is thinking about it in terms of like who's pushing the website forward so that you can squelch the stupid change requests. So that's thing number one. Thing number two is like, how do you stop cancellations? And so this is sort of like a two-part thing I want to share with you. I want to tell you how to stop the cancellations, but also how do you like run the meeting? Yeah. So one of the things that stops the cancellations is letting people know what I'm going to do in the future. And so, so I have this thing that I refer to as our executive summary meeting. And so at the end of the month, or maybe the beginning of the month, you can do it however you want, but like sometime on a monthly basis, usually it's at the end of the current month, like right before we're about to start a new month, I want to set up a 15-minute meeting with the client. And it's got to be 15 minutes and it's got to be live. Like you don't have to do it necessarily in person. You can do it over Zoom or something like that. But you can't like email a report to the client and think they're going to look at it, because they're not. You'll send them the report. They'll be like, oh, I got the report from Lee. And then they'll just delete it. They'll never even read it. Or if it's a video, they might not even click it. And I know, because I try, because I don't really like to do the meetings that much. I much prefer to just get the work done and move on. And I assume that my client is interested enough to actually watch the Loom video I send them or whatever. But I can see on the stats, on the reports, that they're not watching the videos. They're not clicking the links. And so I want to set up a 15-minute meeting, but it's got to be 15 minutes. Otherwise, the client's not going to agree to it. If you tell them it's 15 minutes, but then you kind of spill over to 30 to 45 to an hour, they're going to be like, oh, well, Lee's saying it's 15 minutes, but it's really an hour. I don't have the time for that. I'm not going to schedule. I'm not going to show up, all that stuff. So it's really got to be 15 minutes. So I want to share with you the sort of like the roadmap, I guess, for this meeting. So the first like minute or two, there may be more than one person showing up to the meeting. So like for the first minute or two, I'm just building rapport, just kind of shooting the breeze, kind of being friendly, kind of building our relationship together. But it's not for long. It's like for maybe up to 2 minutes. And then from minute like 2 to 7, so there's three parts of the meeting. After the rapport, you get into 3 parts. And from meeting for 5 minutes, from like meeting minute 2 to like minute 7, I'm just going to tell them what happened. It's like the executive summary of what happened in the previous month that we're now concluding. And I'll show you, I'll put a little image up so you can kind of see an idea of what we're talking about. But it's stuff like, how many reviews did you get? What's the change in your performance on your website? Maybe I can read to the client a new review that they got, because everybody loves it to read the great reviews at the beginning. And one of the things that we really focus on is helping our clients get more reviews in their Google Business Profile. And so I'll look at some stuff like that. I'll look at the conversion rate for their lead magnets or their contact form, and just give them an executive summary so that they can see that the stuff that we're doing is actually working. And so that's, and it's like a 1-page thing. It's not like detailed. I'm not like going through Google Analytics with them or anything complicated. It's just stuff that I can share in less than 5 minutes that shows that stuff is working. And one of the reasons that I feel like this is really important is because it's helpful. Even though, have you ever had clients where you know that you're doing a good job and you know that you're increasing their traffic, they're getting results, and then they call you and cancel anyway? You're like, dude, I can't believe anybody would cancel. Why are they doing that? Because it's out of sight, out of mind. If you're not doing the meetings, and even if you're emailing reports, they're probably still not going to look at the reports. But if you're not doing any reporting or any monthly meetings at all, then people begin to just assume that if you weren't there, they'd get the same results. And time after time, people cancel from that. And if you're going to do this whole thing, that's a $100,000 business with just 10 clients, it's really important that people don't cancel. The whole point is to extend the number of transactions per client so you don't have to keep finding new clients all the time. And by just showing people what's actually working, that's a really big thing. But it changes the mindset for what needs to change on the website. So I don't want people to say, well, I wish the color of blue was a little bit brighter, or the logo was a little bit bigger. Can you make something pop? There's all those crazy things, or even worse, like stupid change requests like this map thing. I don't want people to feel like they want a change on the website. I want to show them the data and say, hey, based on what we're looking at right here, things are looking good. And there's 2 things that might go wrong. So sometimes there's good things, sometimes there's bad things. And I think that one of the ways that you can fall off the rails with this is if you send a report and say, hey, everything's good, we're just going to keep on going, and then just let it roll. And then sometimes the client will think, oh, they're just giving me the thumbs up saying everything's good, and it doesn't really feel that good. And maybe they're not really doing anything. They're just saying it's good, so they don't have to do any new work. And then the client gets frustrated and cancels. So the way that you overcome that is if you think things are going well and you're going to give them the thumbs up, hey, we're just going to do more of the same next month because it's working. We don't want to break it. We've got these funnels, and funnels are delicate. And if I change it, it's more likely to be bad than good. So let's just let it go. But I'm going to show them why I think it's good. So I'm going to, let's say, for example, I'm looking at a landing page. The landing page has an email opt-in, and it's converting at like maybe 17%. Like, I like that. Like my like golden standard number is like 20%. If I can get it up to 20%, then I'm like, wow, that's awesome. If it's below 10%, I think I really need to change it. But if it's at like 17%, that's really good. So I'm going to keep it at that level and not touch it. But the reason I'm not touching it is because it's at 17%. And I'm going to tell the client, look, this is what our conversion rate is this month. Looks pretty good. Let's let it go again next month. And we don't want to break it because it's working. And so that's why I'm giving the thumbs up. And if you can share that, then the client's like, yeah, that makes sense. Let's not break something that's working. But if like maybe the next month or something else happens, like ads fatigue or something seasonal happens or whatever, if I notice that the conversion rate starts dropping down to like 9%, like something below 10%, I'm gonna say, hey, look, now that the conversion rate on this lead magnet is down below 10%, I think it's time for us to refresh the lead magnet or put up some new content or refresh the ads. Like there's a reason for us to take a change, and it's based on data, not feelings. And I think that's such a huge, huge shift because so many change requests that I used to get were just like the client wants something. It looks, they would prefer a bigger font or a different shade of blue or a different logo change or whatever, with no data behind it, just feelings. And like, I don't want to waste time just changing things based on feelings. But that leads up to the second part of the meeting. So after I tell people what all the executive summary reports are and why we're going to either continue doing something or why we need to make a change, then the next thing that I'm going to ask for are give me some legitimate things about what's new. So the first part of the meeting after the report is what happened. The second part is what's new. And this is when the client gets to tell me if there's anything that's changed about their business or that they want to announce on their site. But it's got to be a real thing. So it's got to be like we changed the price. We're not doing a service that we had, or we expanded to a new service that we didn't have before. You know, something that might be like technically changed about the business that we want to share on the website. I want them to tell me about that. It could be other things. So it could be like events that they're going to hold, or different promotions that they want to offer, or because like promotions would be really helpful for things like their Google Business Profile posts and Facebook posts and stuff like that. So I allowed the client about 5 minutes or so to tell me the new things that are going on and from their side that I need to be aware of so that we can actually push things together for the what's new part of the website. And then the last part, the final part, that's like kind of like the last 5 minutes of the site or of the executive summary meeting is what's next. So we have what happened, what's new, what's next. And what's next is me telling them, here's what we're going to be doing going forward. And this kind of goes back to what we were just talking about before, but this is what squelches all of the stupid change requests, and it also keeps people from canceling because they're going to be like, oh, well, Lee's actually doing some stuff like based on what happened and what's new. Then when I say, well, here's what's next, it's like, okay, that makes sense. Let's do those things. That's great. Because if you don't do that, like if you just sell prepaid hours, I can't underscore this enough. Don't sell prepaid hours for anything because then you have an hourly rate, which is stupid in the first place. But also, like the clients are going to have no idea how to fill the hours. So like, don't do that. And instead say, here's what I'm going to do. And then in your mind, you think, well, the number of things I'm going to be doing for the next month is sort of restricted or kind of confined by how much time I have to do it. But I'm never talking about my hourly rate. I'm just saying, these are the things that we're going to do. This is part of the package that you're on. And here's what next month looks like. So that's the whole thing. So like, if you can do those three things where you have like the shift from selling websites to landing clients, you squelch the stupid change request, and you basically reduce churn by reducing cancellations. So those are the three major things. Then you can build a 6-figure business just working out of your house with just 10 clients. But then there's one last component that you just can never get away from, which is how do you get the first 10 clients? Like how do you get people coming in and talking to you in a way that would have them actually sign up for an ongoing relationship, not just buying a website? Because I think that's a really big thing. Because if you run ads on Facebook or on Google or or if you just talk, or you're known as the guy that builds websites all the time, then people are gonna be like, oh yeah, we need a website, but I don't want the marketing. I don't want any of the other stuff. I just want the site. I don't want SEO. I don't want social media. I just want the website. So how do you get leads for people that actually want the whole marketing plan? Well, I think a lead magnet is a really good idea for that. So check out this next video right here, and I'll show you some lead magnets that actually work for web design to get the kind of clients that we're talking about so you can build the 6-figure agency with just 10 clients. So check this out, and I'll see you right there.